And officially start our meeting, Commissioner Batchelor, would you lead us in Pledge of Allegiance, please?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. First item on our agenda this morning is item B, which is approval of the regular session minutes of 5/12/2021. Board, you've had time to review these minutes as they were prepared in advance. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, call the roll, please.
Commissioner Batchelor?
Yes.
Commissioner Painter?
Yes.
Commissioner Corcoran?
Yes. Item D is our non-consent agenda, and the non-consent agenda, this has been prepared for us for our review. Is there any deletions or corrections?
None here.
That's item C, consent agenda.
Consent.
I'm sorry, I apologize, I went to non-consent. Consent agenda. Item C, let me correct that. We've received these in advance. Are there any corrections or deletions to the consent agenda?
None here.
None.
All right, could I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Call the roll, please.
Commissioner Painter?
Yes.
Commissioner Batchelor?
Yes.
Commissioner Corcoran?
Yes, now we're moving to item D, non-consent agenda, item number 12. Item number 12 is a recommendation of the Board of Clermont County Commissioners to adopt resolution number 067-21, resolving to approve payments to vendors in the total amount, and I have it on this sheet, of $2,757,490.29 as set forth in the BCC approval invoice report for checks dated May 19, 2021, BCC directed prepaid invoice reports and/or the procurement card transaction report as presented by the county auditor on May 17, 2021, and further authorizing the county auditor to issue warrants for same pursuant to section 31.19.16 of the Ohio Revised Code. Do I have a motion to pay the bills?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, call the roll, please.
Commissioner Batchelor?
Yes.
Commissioner Painter?
Yes.
Commissioner Corcoran?
Yes. Item number 13, Department of Job Family Services. Connie Tibby, are you with us this morning?
Yes, I am. Good morning. Good
Good
morning.
morning.
Item number 13 is the recommendation of Thomas J. Eigel, County Administrator, to authorize Timothy Dick, Director of the Department of Job and Family Services, to execute an early intervention service coordination grant agreement by and between the Clermont County Department of Job and Family Services, acting in its role as administrative agent for the Clermont County Family and Children First, and the Ohio Department of Developmental Disabilities out of Columbus, Ohio, for the provision of funding for early intervention service coordination services for Clermont County families with children from birth through age 2 with developmental delays, as well as to strengthen positive family environments conducive to the healthy growth and development of young children and with developmental delays, and to help parents deal with the stresses of participating in work, education, and/or training activities, and an amount not to exceed $518,457 for state fiscal year 2022, with no local match cash required therefore. It's effective for the period of July 1st, 2021 through June 30th of 2022, pursuant to the terms and conditions specified therein.
Board, you heard the reading recommendation to execute early intervention services coordination grant agreement, and it's for the provision of funding for the early intervention services coordination for Clermont County families with children from birth through age 2 with developmental delays. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, call the roll, please.
Commissioner Painter?
Yes.
Commissioner Batchelor?
Yes.
Commissioner Corcoran?
Yes. Thank you, Connie. Item number 14, Engineer's Office.
Good morning, Craig Reisner, County Engineer's Office. Item number 14 is a recommendation of Jeremy Evans, County Engineer, to execute a contract for public improvement by and between the Board of County Commissioners and National Gunite, Johnstown, PA, for the Glen Estee Withensville Road Culvert CC 55-14 Rehabilitation Project located in Union Township. It's more fully described in a scope of services identified as Exhibit A, attached thereto and made a part thereof. all of which is in conjunction with the ODOT 316-21 purchasing contract with National Gunite in an amount not to exceed $58,825, with said services to be completed within the calendar year of 2021, pursuant to and in compliance with the terms and conditions set forth therein, contingent upon the release of the required purchase order in concert with requisition number 00002491-00, dated 4/22/21.
Board, you've heard the recommendation to execute a contract for public improvement minor projects with National Gunite, and this is for the Glen Estee Withensville Road Culvert CC 55-14 rehabilitation in Union Township. Do I have a motion to approve?
I'll make the motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, call the roll, please.
Commissioner Batchelor?
Yes.
Commissioner Painter?
Yes.
Commissioner Corcoran?
Yes. Thank you, Craig. Item number 15.
Good morning.
Morning,
I'm
Lyle.
Lyle Bloom, Director with the Clermont County Water Resources Department. And item 15 is a recommendation to accept the following grant of water easement with rights of reentry for repair and replacement that will be granted and conveyed to Clermont County for utility purposes of constructing, operating, maintaining, repairing, replacing, removing, or reinstalling water utility lines, pumping equipment, and all incidental fixtures required for the transportation of water in, on, under, and across the property of the grantors. And this is for project number 6401-60182 relative to the State Route 125 water main replacement project located in Batavia and Pierce Townships, and further to authorize the county auditor to remit payment to the grantors in amounts as outlined and as indicated on the settlement sheet as compensation for the permanent easement and right-of-way that will be granted. And the grantor is Robert W. and Carolyn R. Grow, trustees for property at 157 West Main Street in Amelia.
Board, you heard the recommendation to accept the following grant of water easement with rights of re-entry for repair and replacement for project numbers 6401-60182 relatives to the State Route 125 water main replacement project. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, call the roll, please.
Commissioner Painter?
Yes.
Commissioner Batchelor?
Yes.
Commissioner Corcoran?
Yes. Item number 16, Lyle Bloom.
Item 16 is a recommendation to adopt resolution number 068-21 resolving to authorize one property located off Mount Holly Lane in Batavia Township that's within the Clermont County Water Resources Department's water service jurisdiction. This is identified as parcel number 03-20-20E-015 to connect one residential water service to the Tate Monroe Water Association Incorporated Water Service Area. With Clermont County maintaining all authority to control, manage, or maintain said parcel within the Clermont County Water Resources Department water service jurisdiction area for purposes of providing water service to future development beyond the connection of one residential water service. So typically we release areas to Tate Monroe for water service. In this case, this is a 133-acre piece of property that on either side of it is areas served by Clermont County Water Resources that are also large parcels, but they do not have direct access to the county's water system right now, and they want to connect one residential water service. So we're allowing them to connect one residential water service, but if the property develops in the future, we maintain the right to serve that for future development purposes.
Board, you heard the recommendation to adopt resolution number 068-21 to authorize one property located off of Mount Holly Lane in Batavia Township to connect one residential water service to the Tate Monroe Water Association Incorporated Water Service Area. Do I have a motion to approve?
I'll make the motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, call the roll, please.
Commissioner Batchelor?
Yes.
Commissioner Painter?
Yes.
Commissioner Corcoran?
Yes. Item number 17, Lyle Bloom.
Item 17 is a recommendation to adopt resolution number 069-21 resolving to proceed to file a petition for appropriation of real property for a portion of parcel number 50-11-03-027 consisting of the purchase of a permanent easement over and through such real property located in Wayne Township and owned by Jack Grigsby, whose mailing address is 324 Main Street, P.O. Box 116, Newtonsville, Ohio, and as identified in Exhibit 2, in concert with project numbers 6402-60116 and 60117 relative to the Newtonsville Collection System Assessment Project and the Newtonsville Wastewater Treatment Plant Project located in Wayne Township. And resolving to authorize a declaration of intent to take possession as designated in Exhibit 4, and to authorize the amount of $1,385.58 to be deposited with the Clermont County Common Pleas Clerk of Courts, which represents the county's appraisal of the value of the real property to be appropriated and damages thereto, if any, and further authorize the county auditor to issue the reference payment subsequent thereto. So this is one of 2 properties that we currently need easement on or property purchase, and we're in the appropriation process for both properties.
Board, you've heard the recommendation to proceed to file petition for appropriation of real property for a portion of parcel number 50-11-03.027. Consisting of the purchase of the permanent easement over and through such real property located in Wayne Township and owned by Jack Grigsby. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion?
Lyle, is this the last of 2 that you need for that, or am I correct on that?
Yes, that is correct. The other one is a property purchase, and we're in the appropriation process for that as well.
And just not holding your feet to the fire or anything, but when this particular process is over, what's the schedule for actually sticking a shovel in the ground?
Currently, we plan to bid the project have a bid opening in September, and that would put us with construction start about mid-November, and then completion in February of 2023. It's about a 15-month construction schedule. There are several federal documents that we have to get completed between the completion of the property acquisition and the actual time that we can bid it out. But that's our current schedule for construction.
Fantastic. You know, this particular project has been all about perseverance, and I just want to tell you thanks for sticking with it and making it happen.
I will share that with staff because they've been, I know Chris Rowland in particular has been very involved in this, and it's one to remember.
That it is.
But
That
you
it
should
is.
to fondly remember. Okay. Thank you.
Okay, we have a first and a second, Holly. Okay, call the roll, please.
Commissioner Painter?
Yes.
Commissioner Batchelor?
Yes.
Commissioner Corcoran?
Yes. Item number 18. Thank you, Lyle. Phil Pumphrey.
Morning, Commissioners. Phil Pumphrey, Director of Clermont Transportation Connection. It's a recommendation of Thomas J. Iowa, County Administrator, to adopt Resolution Number 21, resolving to authorize Phil Pumphrey, Director of Clermont Transportation Connection, his or her designee, to file an application, including furnishing such additional information as required in connection with the application on behalf of the Clermont County Board of Commissioners with the Ohio Department of Transportation, 1980 West Broad Street, Columbus, Ohio, 43223 for the Ohio Transit Partnership Program for state fiscal year 2022 in the amount of $22,000, and further authorize Claire B. Cochran, President of the Board of County Commissioners, to execute the standard state assurances relative thereto, pursuant to and in compliance with the terms and conditions set forth therein.
Board, you've heard the recommendation to adopt resolution number 070-21. This is an application with the Ohio Department of Transportation for the Ohio Transit Partnership Program for the state fiscal year 2022. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, call the roll.
Commissioner Batchelor?
Yes.
Commissioner Painter?
Yes.
Commissioner Corcoran?
Yes. Thank you, Phil. Good morning, Mr. Grabowski. How are you?
Good morning, all. How are everyone today?
Good.
Fine. Item number 19.
Very good. Agenda item, trying out my new spectacles, by the way.
Oh, no.
I can see.
Can you see it?
What happened?
Agenda item number 19 is a recommendation of myself, Wade Grabowski, Director of the Clermont County Facilities Management Department, with the concurrence of Mr. Thomas J. Eigel, County Administrator, to accept the contract by and between the County of Clermont County, Ohio, with Garland DBS, Cleveland, Ohio, for the EMA 911 Communication Center roof replacement projects located in the village of Batavia as complete as of April 16, 2020, and to approve the application and certificate of payment number 3, final, which represents the release of retainage in the principal amount of $6,931.32, and that will be paid through the auditor.
Board, you heard the recommendation to accept the contract with Garland DBS Incorporated for the EMA 911 Communication Center roof replacement and to approve the application certificate for the final payment number 3. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, call the roll, please.
Commissioner Painter?
Yes.
Commissioner Batchelor?
Yes.
Commissioner Corcoran?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Wade. Item number 20.
Number 20 is a recommendation to approve and sign bond number 014-222173 in the amount of $2,000 for the Clermont County Chief Dog Warden and $2,000 for the Clermont County Deputy Dog Wardens effective 1/1/21, and to authorize payment for the premium in the amount of $100 to Charles J. Miller Insurance located in Batavia, Ohio, with the reference bond to be filed in the Office of the County Auditor pursuant to and in compliance with Section 955.12 of the Ohio Revised Code.
Board, you heard the recommendation presented by Greg Bickford, Assistant Administrator, Clermont County, and this is to approve and sign the bond number 014222173 in the amount of $2,000 for the Clermont County Chief Dog Warden and $2,000 for the Clermont County Deputy Dog Wardens effective 1/1/2021. Do I have a motion to approve?
I'll make the motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion?
Greg, this is for Caleb and
Aaron and Aaron, this has actually been in effect since January 1st.
Yeah.
I believe the payment information has just recently come through, this is why we're
Right.
now, but it has
Okay.
been in effect.
Okay, no problem. Thank you.
Call the roll, please.
Commissioner Batchelor?
Yes.
Commissioner Painter?
Yes.
Commissioner Corcoran?
Yes. Item number 21, Wade Grabowski.
Back again.
Aye.
Agenda item number 21 is a recommendation to authorize Mr. Thomas J. Eigel, County Administrator, or in his absence, Mr. Greg Bickford, Assistant County Administrator, to execute for and on the behalf of the Board of County Commissioners, Batavia, Ohio, a waiver release of all claims and indemnity as attached hereto, including any and all special conditions contained therein with Barrett Paving Materials, Commerce Drive, Franklin, Ohio, for and in consideration of being permitted to enter and store equipment for the US 32 and Bower Road intersection project on the real property located at 2340 Clermont Center Drive, Batavia, Ohio, being owned by the Board of County Commissioners for the period not to exceed May 19th, 2021 through December 31st, 2021.
Board, you heard the recommendation of Mr. Grabowski to execute a waiver, release of all claims and indemnity with Barrett Paving Materials Incorporated for and in consideration of being permitted to enter and store equipment for the US 32 and Bower Road intersection project. And this will be on the real property located at 2340 Clermont County Drive. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, call the roll, please.
Corcoran?
Yes.
Quickly, I think I sent all this information to all of you this morning. ODOT sent out a schedule for this project. It looks like on Monday, May 24th, the contractors with ODOT will begin nightly lane closures on 32 and Bower Road from 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. Those lane closures will be in effect through Friday, May 28th, and it looks like the construction timeline, the construction's anticipated to be completed in late fall. So I'll get this information to Mike Bamer so he can put it out on social media.
Thank you for that. That means that it'll be out on our social media so everybody can see the actual dates and times, how long those lanes will be closed. That's
Yeah,
it.
and they should send a more detailed construction schedule for us, but this is just the preliminary.
Great.
They have begun staging equipment on the corner of
Yes.
Bower and 32 as of yesterday.
Great.
It really means it'll be posted on social media before we can conclude this meeting.
It's
It's already there.
already there.
There you go.
You're quick, Mike.
Thanks,
Thank you, Mike. It's already there.
Thanks,
He's,
Mike.
he's efficient.
He is efficient. That's wonderful. Thank you very much for that. Okay, is that the end of our discussion this morning? Mike's ahead of
That's
us.
it. I'm not going to say anything anymore.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Eigel. Okay, call the roll, please.
Commissioner Painter?
Yes.
Commissioner Batchelor?
Yes.
Commissioner Corcoran?
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Wade. Item number 22. Good morning, Mary Raines. Good to see you.
Item 22 is a request to increase the annual appropriation for 2021 in the local coronavirus relief fund in the amount of $286,717.78. This is just the balance in the fund that hasn't been appropriated yet for 2021.
Board, this recommendation, Mary Raines, Director, Office of Management Budget, to authorize changes in the annual appropriation resolution number 191-20 for the calendar year 2021. Do I have a motion to approve?
I'll make the motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, call the roll, please.
Commissioner Batchelor?
Yes.
Commissioner Painter?
Yes.
Commissioner Corcoran?
Yes. Thank you, Mary.
Mary, before you go, just a question there on current funds and what's going on with that as far as, relief funds and then obviously jobs plan. Last thing I saw there, 40 million, was that 40.1?
Roughly 40
or-
million.
Okay.
And we should be getting the first half of that soon,
Yeah.
And then I understand the second half comes in 12 months?
12
is that
months
correct?
after receipt of the first.
Okay. Any guidance from the Treasury Department so far?
There's been a plethora of guidance from the Treasury Department. It'll be more intense than it was with these first funds. There'll be a lot of reporting requirements to the federal government. And I don't know, is it like 150 pages?
151 pages.
151 pages of guidelines. So it's going to be a lot to go through and to
And that's gonna
manage.
be like before, the electronic transfer straight from the Department of the Treasury? Is that how that's coming?
I
Okay.
think the Treasury is supposed to come out with some guidance, additional guidance at the end of this week. So we're hoping that'll clarify a few things.
Okay.
Right now, most of the guidance is the same as it was initially. So we're trying to get some idea of what the guardrails are for the money, just like we did with the CARES funds last year.
Yep.
So as that information continues to come in, we'll keep you updated on that.
And as of yesterday's seminar, they still didn't seem to have a final decision on applicability to townships as far as
I
distribution.
understand there'll be something coming out, and it's thought that townships will be getting an allocation.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
we're just not sure, but I think that's part of what they may address here in the next couple of days.
Mm-hmm.
That'll help a lot, because I know that question's been asked quite often.
Right.
And then how do we look as far as just actuals and budgetary situation?
Well, there's about $875,000 cash left in this coronavirus relief fund right now.
Okay.
And we've spent just over $9 million since we originally received it last year.
And how are we doing as far as the county budget as a whole?
County budget, we're in the process right now of looking at that because tax budgets from the departments are supposed to be in Friday. So we're taking a good look at that. Sales tax numbers through March, which is what we received this month, are really looking good. We're up almost 7% from year to date and 11%, almost 12% from last March. Now, last year, April is when we started to see the decline because of the pandemic. But the preliminary results from the state for the non-autos has Clermont County up 38% from its 4% decline from last year. So we're still hopeful that things are
Has
really on track.
intergovernmental started to change? Are we starting to get back?
We're starting to see a lot of the changes in there. Again, once everything comes in and the projections are done for this year, within the next couple of weeks, we'll have a lot better picture.
Thank you. Thanks for everything you do.
Mary.
Okay?
Thank you, Mary.
All right.
Thank you very much. That concludes our non-consent agenda at this time. I would like to move item F, which is county staff elected officials discussion above item E, additions to the agenda. Board, this morning, I'd like to know if there's any discussion regarding our health orders that are in place at the current time. Just as a reminder that action was taken by this board on March the 18th, 2020, and due to the pandemic and the emergency orders, and it became effective on March 23rd, 2020 to suspend our public participation due to those Ohio Department of Health and the governor's orders. It's my understanding now that the Ohio Department of Health and Governor is lifting our orders on June the 2nd, 2021. And this is all in accordance with the CDC guidelines, and there's a lot of guidelines still that keep the safety and procedures and guidance in these health orders, like for transportation, et cetera. So I'm going to ask the board at this point, after we finish our discussion, to possibly add a motion onto the agenda. So is there anyone else who would like to discuss this morning? Any other discussion? Hearing none.
What would the motion look like, sound like?
Well, I'd like to go into, do an addition to the agenda. We can go to that right now if you'd like to.
Sure, that's fine.
Okay, I'd like to add to the agenda this morning under item E, which is a motion to ask the board to consider to add today to direct our administrator, Mr. Eigel, to prepare a resolution to be presented at our next meeting on May the 26th, 2021, to renew our public participation policy that we had suspended due to these previous orders. And that's the motion I'd like to ask for now on the floor. Is there a motion?
I'll make the motion.
Is there a second? Well, first of all, we have to add it, correct?
We have to add it.
Okay. Motion to add. Is there a second to add?
I'll add. Yes.
Okay. Any further discussion on that?
What would be the day that we go back to regular? You're going to prepare it. We're asking Tom to get it prepared. When will it be effective?
June the 2nd.
So it would be effective at the next regular session. So if you would vote to approve that on the 26th, it would go into effect on June 2nd.
Okay.
That's our next regular session.
Okay. Any further discussion?
No, that's it.
Thank you. Call the roll, please.
Commissioner Batchelor?
Yes.
Commissioner Painter?
Yes.
Commissioner Corcoran?
Yes. Now I'll entertain a motion, now that we've added it, a motion to consider adding it today to this agenda. The motion, we've already added, I'm asking for a motion to prepare a resolution to be done by Mr. Eigel, our county administrator, to be presented at our meeting on May the 26th, 2021, to go into effect on June the 2nd, 2021, to renew our public participation policy.
So moved.
Is there a second?
I will second.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, call the roll, please.
Commissioner Painter?
Yes.
Commissioner Batchelor?
Yes.
Commissioner Corcoran?
Yes. Any other additions this morning to the agenda?
There's no other additions.
Thank you. Now we're moving on to member comments, item G. Any comments this morning?
No comments.
I have one, Ms. Batchelor, Commissioner Batchelor, do you have any comments this morning?
I would like to discuss when are we going then to be able to remove these masks?
So as you're aware, so the governor announced that on June 2nd, all the public health orders will be rescinded. Now, there are certain things that they have to keep in place. I think it's regarding some congregate care facilities and some other, I think the current order, it doesn't apply to jails and prison facilities, nursing homes, assisted living facilities, or adult service centers for elderly adults. So, but the order that was issued on the 17th says, as per Governor DeWine announced, the vast majority of health orders, except some orders for safety and congregate living in health settings and some technical matters, will be rescinded on June 2nd, 2021 at 12:01 a.m. So briefly, in short, except in certain limited circumstances, fully vaccinated persons may safely do most activities without a facial covering and without socially distancing. As such, unvaccinated individuals should continue to protect themselves using mitigation measures such as masking and social distancing. Persons who are not fully vaccinated should continue to wear masks, socially distance, avoid large gatherings whenever possible, be outside for activities and gatherings. And I'm just reading some different parts of the order related to mask coverings. In Section 1, under facial coverings, in accordance with the guidance issued on May 13th, 2021 by the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, all fully vaccinated people, and they define that as fully vaccinated persons, refers to a person who is greater than or equal to 2 weeks following receipt of the second dose of a 2-dose series and 2 weeks following the receipt of a 1-dose series, can resume activities without wearing a mask. However, vaccinated individuals must continue to wear masks on all planes, trains, buses, and other forms of public transportation. So obviously that would impact our CTC drivers. They would have to continue to wear masks while they're driving the buses. Also, it allows individual businesses to make those decisions. So if our building inspectors have to enter a business and the business is requiring individuals to wear a mask, those inspectors would have to wear a mask. I'm sure it's going to apply to our DJFS individuals that have to enter homes or places of business as well. If that business decides they want people to wear a mask or that homeowner requires them to wear a mask, they should comply with that. So that's basically the order in a nutshell on mask wearing. And then we have to have signage posted on the building. So we've checked with ODH and they said that there was supposed to be signage for us to post. Signage is not there yet. So we'll likely go ahead and just post our own sign in accordance with the order.
So are you saying that we can now,
All vaccinated individuals.
Claire? Hello, thank you.
Thank
you go.
Thank you. Holy cow.
I think we have all hated wearing those, but I think they have had their benefits. I know there are some people that don't agree with that statement, but if it's benefited anyone, I'm glad I did it to protect my family, my friends, my co-workers, so today's a good day.
Very much so, thank you.
Commissioner Painter, I understand why you still have yours on, so
Correct.
your day will come soon.
So let's just talk about one other issue on that. You know, we've talked about the dropping of the masking requirements. Obviously, we've had 2/3 compliance today. The other issue is the declaration of an emergency.
Sir.
You know, obviously, the governor of the state declared an emergency. We declared emergency on, what was it, March the 18th? And we do not plan on lifting that emergency until such time that the state declares that an emergency no longer exists. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's my recommendation at this time, and there are a couple reasons for that. One is obviously that declaration activated the EOC, and while it's not as active as it used to be, if any such time during the summer, if we have an issue, they can continue to operate out of the EOC. The second is it authorized the administrator to execute contracts up to $100,000 without going out for bid. And that may be useful as we continue down the line with these CARES funds and then the American Rescue Plan funds.
Right. Typically, after an emergency declaration, you know, not too long after that, there's some funding mechanism
Right.
that may be made available that would allow you to be reimbursed for, obviously, dollars that you spent to aid in the emergency.
Yeah, and you know, originally we thought that would be the case, and the CARES funds came, and then the American Rescue Plan funds. They didn't tie it to that declaration, but like you said, Commissioner Painter, you never know in the future if they continue to tie dollars to that declaration.
Mm-hmm. And then, as far as us enforcing any type of mask requirement in this building, let's talk about that for a second. We have no warranty and no requirement to ask someone if they have been vaccinated, since that is HIPAA information to them. So am I correct in saying that there'll be no enforcement of a mask requirement here in this building or in any county building in Clermont County? Is that correct?
That's correct, unless there is I'll continue to check with legal regarding that question about asking whether or not someone is vaccinated. And then also there could be some court orders as well. And I'll have to get clarification by June 2nd for you on that.
No problem. Thank you.
Thank you for your work on that.
Yeah, and then the other item we had is just our critical event policy. So I met with the HR staff yesterday, so we're going to go through that policy, and we'll have a recommendation to the board on that policy on June 2nd as well.
And there's one other thing to talk about there is public participation in this meeting. You know, I would assume that we would resume to all previous protocol prior to us calling that emergency as of June the 2nd.
That's correct. So we resume public participation. The rules have not changed at this point regarding that. So we just resume as they were when we suspended them.
Okay. So part of that resolution that we passed this morning in that direction will be to obviously suspend, we suspended in accordance with Article 7, public participation, and that will be to lift that suspension.
Be to renew
That's
it.
correct.
And go right back to public participation.
That's correct.
Okay?
Good, thank you. Any other member comments this morning? I have one other item. I had a request for a proclamation, and because of the length of the meeting this morning, I told the individual that we have signed a proclamation and we're just going to mail it to them. And it's to make sure everyone is aware of Apraxia Awareness Day in May. And this is a childhood disease where it affects the speech of children. It's extremely challenging them to get over those speech orders, and 1 in 1,000 children is affected by it. And this causes children to have significant difficulty learning to speak, and among the most severe speech deficits there is to children. So just keep those children in mind, and as always, we try and reach out to people and make sure that we cover all the different afflictions that we have out there. And we wish their organization and all their volunteers well, and trying to help the children learn how to speak and how to learn.
And the resolution for proxy didn't make it to the agenda today because
No.
it was too late?
No, it's just we had too many we had already put on the agenda for May. We're getting inundated with people wanting proclamations, but we're still going to try and honor them briefly and get the proclamations out to them by this board.
Okay.
Okay, now, let's move on to, we're going to ask for a motion, I will at this point, to go into recess because we have an 11 o'clock public hearing this morning. Do I have a motion to go into recess till 11
So
o'clock?
moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Call the roll, please.
Commissioner Painter?
Yes.
Commissioner Batchelor?
Yes.
Commissioner Corcoran?
Yes, thank you. We will come back at 11 o'clock for a public hearing. We're now in recess. Hi, we have returned from recess now, and we're going into our public hearing this morning. Today is May 19th, 2021, at 11 o'clock, and before us this morning is a public hearing on the request to vacate a portion of Klepper Lane T-252 situated in Union Township. Do we have anyone here this morning who would like to be sworn in if they'd like to speak?
We have one individual who's requested, and I'll retrieve them now.
Thank you. Yes, thank you.
Yeah,
What?
we need to make sure we have Craig Reisner give his report as well.
Okay, do you want to do it before we bring him in? Okay, Mr. Reisner, are you with us this morning from the engineer's office? Could you give us an overview, please?
Good morning.
Morning.
Craig Reisner, Clermont County Engineer's Office. Today we have a request for a proposed road vacation of a portion of Klepper Lane, Township Road 252, located in Union Township. The length of the request is 160 feet or 0.03 miles. I've reviewed and plat description provided contained in Union Township Board of Trustees Resolution 2021-08 dated April 8th, 2021. And as part of the resolution application, they did have a survey and descriptions prepared by McGill Smith Punchin. The resolution requests vacating a portion 160 feet of Klepper Lane, Township Road 252, located in Union Township. Klepper Lane is a dedicated right-of-way as it appears in Plat Book D, page 226 of the Clermont County Recorder's Office, dated April 1955. The proposed vacation will reduce the Union Township ODOT road mileage certification by 0.03 miles. The proposed vacation will not create any landlocked parcels. The Board of County Commissioners approved the requested vacation. A Mylar copy of the vacation plat will be required to be filed in the tax map office. So the plat and description that have been provided are acceptable for the vacation. This is some old Klepper Lane right-of-way that is no longer necessary due to the Clermont County Transportation Improvement District project Klepper Lane extension. The adjacent owners are the mountain, on both sides of Klepper, are the Mountain Agency Eastgate LLC. So if you approve this vacation, we will create two parcels, each 0.0735, and the adjacent owners will get title to these parcels. There are sewer and water facilities, Clermont County sewer and water facilities located within this proposed vacation. And if you approve the vacation, easements will remain in place in the 40-foot wide strip for the existing utility.
Thank you, Mr. Eisner. This morning, do we have any proponent testimony or any opponent testimony on this request to vacate the portion of Klepper Lane? Good morning. Mr. Hicks, could you be sworn in, please, if you intend to give testimony?
You solemnly swear that the testimony you're about to give in this subject matter is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So help you God.
Yes, Ernie.
Thank you, Mr. Remus.
Okay, so I am Chris Hicks from 444 Woodward Court, Cincinnati, Ohio 45255. I'm here to speak in opposition to the proposed vacation of a portion of Klepper Lane. I oppose any such actions until you fully reopen your meetings to the public and fully restart public participation. I can stand here now only because you are statutorily required to let people speak in a public hearing such as this. But you will not allow citizens in the room for public participation at your regular meetings for now 14 months. And you will not even allow public participation via Zoom. Now, I'm fully aware, only because I listened on the car while driving here, of that you took an action to have a resolution for a resolution a little bit ago in this meeting. So I'm aware of that. But again, you're not open yet. And it's absurd why we need a resolution to have a resolution. Just open. As I came up here, I happened to look. I noticed on the back door of the building, and I noticed then I went to the front door of the building. The masking signs in this building are already gone. Okay, I walked through the auditor's lobby, no masking signs or anything in the auditor's lobby anymore. Just last week, those were all there. So let's quit the absurdity in this show. And I appreciate you ladies taking your mask off, okay, finally, as you're both fully vaccinated. And as Ron DeSantis says, it undermines credibility of the vaccine when vaccinated people still wear masks. But let me continue and finish my remarks relating to my opposition to this vacation of a portion of Klepper Lane until you fully reopen. Last week on Local 12, Ms. Corcoran said anyone could set up one-on-one meetings with commissioners. In the actual meeting, Mr. Painter said, quote, "We have never restricted anyone from having access to a commissioner either in person, in this office, or by telephone, or by text message, or by email. So I asked Mr. Painter to meet with me. He agreed. A meeting was set up for 10 o'clock on Tuesday. I even got a calendar invite. After it was set up, I shared the topics I wished to discuss: economic development, COVID-19 response, Beckjord, and the animal shelter. And I asked 3 additional things. I would like to live stream our video record the meeting. Is that okay? If a member of the press wanted to attend with me, is that okay? Also, could we possibly meet in the commissioner's meeting room or in the conference room across the hall? He immediately canceled the meeting. He said, quote, "My decision to not meet with you had nothing to do with the topics you picked. It has everything to do with you and your need to control the meeting. And, quote, as always, your negative spin on the topics and recording requests are not the factual reason that I declined our meeting." So it wasn't the topics, it wasn't the recording, so I still don't know why exactly Mr. Painter reversed gear on having a meeting with me. So, or why we have to wait for more action to open these meetings back up. It's very important, this forum where people can talk in public, on camera, and you know it's the only time a citizen can address all 3 commissioners legally at one time. Okay, there's no other forum in which a citizen can do all 3 at one time. I want to close with a backstory that I think relates to this. You're all Republicans. I'm a Republican. You're not. You guys aren't on the Central Committee. Mr. Painter's wife is. You know, and you are. Bonnie, you are in the Central Committee. I'm on the Central Committee. And this morning, a member sent out a note because I had proposed that there be a resolution at the meeting tonight that the party compel our commissioners to reopen their meetings. I had nothing to do with the note. It was a pleasant surprise when I saw it this morning. And I want to read one paragraph out of it, a note from a citizen member of the Republican Committee. Quote, "I feel compelled to voice my opinion and desire for this body to openly admonish our Clermont County leadership for their lockout of citizens during this pandemic. This is obviously intentional and disheartening. It is frankly embarrassing how our county leadership has behaved and treated citizens during this pandemic. I am grateful for the few who are speaking up and raising the flag of concern and driving the required open access to our leadership and processes in the county. It may have no authority, but it sends a signal and message of disappointment and need for stronger transparency in local government. I thought that was spot on. I wish I would have written something like that. So now you have a resolution to have a resolution. Why didn't you just reopen your meetings? Why didn't you just say today that we're going back to the rules immediately? Why the more charade? And I want to comment one other thing before I totally finish with the last paragraph. I listened. I only know about your action because I was listening in the car while driving here. By the way, it's kind of hard to listen. I wasn't watching the video. It's hard to get Facebook to play through my Bluetooth and so forth. It's not easy to listen to a commissioner meeting while driving, on even streamed on live stream. One of the things I heard, though, was that you're not going to list the state of emergency. And one of the things I thought was interesting was Mr. Eigel saying the state of emergency allows you to do, if I understood correctly, contracts of $100,000 without competitive bids. The state of emergency should be lifted immediately too. You guys are supposed to be fiscal conservative Republicans. I know you're excited about the $40 million in Biden bucks printed in Venezuela, but the idea that we would continue to have a policy where we can have no bid contracts of $100,000 in this county, that is absurd. I didn't even know about that because I hadn't studied enough, so I appreciate you mentioning it in the discussion, Mr. Eigel. So my closing paragraph. Thank you for the chance to speak here today. If any of you want to cross-examine me on the reasons that I would propose the vacation of part of Klepper Lane, that you shouldn't do any vacations until the meetings are fully reopened, please do so now. If you have comments about what I've said, please make the comments while I'm in the room, not right after I get locked out on the other side of the hall. And make sure to have the courtesy to talk to me to my face, not behind my back after I've been pushed out the door. Thank you, guys. Are there any questions for me? Are there any commentaries about me that anybody would like to make while I'm still in the room? Okay, thank you guys very much.
Thank you. Your comments are always so insightful and helpful.
Now, we've had opponent testimony. There is no other proponent testimony, is there, this morning? Okay. Anyone else out there who would like to comment or request to be?
Okay.
There's no one else? Thank you. Holly Cruey, at this point, could you acknowledge for the record any correspondence we have received?
There have not been any correspondence, either written or otherwise, Commissioner Corcoran.
Thank you very much. So at this point, we're going to close our public hearing. Could I have a motion to close?
You know, before we
Right.
close, I'd just like to address one of those statements that was made here today, and it's about the emergency declaration. You know, obviously, I know Mr. Hicks is a expert on every particular issue, except he's not much of an expert on government agencies. You know, I think we talked about the fact that if we were to end this emergency declaration, that it would also end our ability to be reimbursed for any costs that we may have incurred due to that emergency declaration. So that's why I'm not in favor of doing away with the emergency declaration. Tom, I don't believe that you've made any procurements as far as the emergency declaration that would have required a $100,000 purchase
No,
without
and
a
it's
competitive bid.
Yes, sir, and I'm sorry to interrupt. It's very clear in the declaration, so if you, back in March when we issued it, there's a whole paragraph on that issue. So to act like it's a surprise,
Yes.
it's no surprise. It's very clear that 50 to 100,000, it allows some flexibility.
Right.
And Wade is here. He can attest to the fact that we have HVAC work that we had to do as a result of the pandemic. That's not easy to be under $50,000, and you have to be very nimble to be able to address those issues quickly. So it's only up to 100,000. So the authorization to bid is 50. Gives you that extra $50,000 to be able to address issues. You have to get 3 estimates, 3 quotes. So you can't just go out and just hire whoever you want. You still have to get 3 estimates. Anybody that wants to read the emergency declaration, there's a whole paragraph about that. It says exactly what my duties and responsibilities are, so it should not come as a surprise.
And you bring up that emergency declaration, Wade, you're in the room, it allowed us to act very, very quickly when it came to adding sanitation capabilities to all of our HVAC equipment throughout this county to protect the public and obviously our employees. The second thing I wanted to address was the fact that I canceled that meeting. It is no secret amongst Clermont County and the people who follow Mr. Hicks that he wishes to get lots of videotape and recorded conversations with public officials so that when he chooses to run for office against you, that it can be used against your to his advantage and against you. I want to assure you that you know, it had my reason to cancel had nothing to do with the subjects. It had everything to do when he finally made his real request known, that what he wanted was video footage and recorded conversations. I will not meet with Mr. Hicks today, tomorrow, or ever, no matter what office I hold in this state. And you can print that for the record. Thank you.
Anyone else comment?
Commissioners, I just want to clarify, I just discussed with Wade, the iWave system that we installed throughout the county, and Wade, if you want to comment, but that did exceed the 50 up to 100,000. So I had said that I didn't believe we had, I do believe we had that and some other HVAC equipment. That equipment is expensive.
Yes, very much.
So it's very hard to get that equipment for under $50,000. So thank goodness we had that in place. Otherwise, we would not have been able to install those iWave systems in our system.
Correct.
So I just want to make sure that was clear.
Thank you. Appreciate
Thank you.
that. So now we're completed with our public hearing this morning, and at this time, if the board would like to proceed with the request to vacate, Holly, could you lead us in that, please?
At this time, we would request an add-on for
Yes.
consideration by the board. This is subsequent to the conclusion of today's public hearing. This would be for resolution number 7121, to have the board consider determining to vacate a portion of Klepper Lane.
Or could I have a motion to add this to the agenda this morning, this motion?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, any further discussion? Hearing none, call the roll, please.
Commissioner Painter?
Yes.
Commissioner Batchelor?
Yes.
Commissioner Corcoran?
Yes, okay. And now for the motion, Holly, please.
This is a recommendation to adopt Resolution 7121, determining to vacate a portion of Klepper Lane, Township Road 252, situated in Union Township, Clermont County, Ohio, as described therein, pursuant to and in compliance with Section 5553045 of the Ohio Revised Code.
Board, you heard the reading and the recommendation to adopt resolution number 071-21. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, call the roll, please.
Commissioner Batchelor?
Yes.
Commissioner Painter?
Yes.
Commissioner Corcoran?
Yes. We've concluded our public hearing this morning. Could I have a motion, if there's nothing further, could I have a motion to adjourn this meeting?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Call the roll, please.
Commissioner Painter?
Yes.
Commissioner Batchelor?
Yes.
Commissioner Corcoran?
Yes, thank you very much. Thank you, and we'll see you next week.